Thanks for joining us again. Jared, Scream 6. We finally got there.
Mm-hmm.
Doing gangbusters at the box office.
Yep.
It'll be a really interesting discussion here because I enjoyed Scream 2022 and I did watch it prior to going to see it.
Yep.
So I wanted to get in the mindset and how I felt about this kind of requel type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think we both enjoyed Scream 2022 quite a bit. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to discuss how this one goes. But let's get to what we've been watching. I watched The Last of Us finale.
Yep.
Brilliant. Nailed it. Gave me exactly what I hoped they'd give me.
Good.
It delivered really well, and I actually have interest in a second season. Even though I kind of felt like, let's just finish it. You know, let's have one season and leave it there.
Yeah. Yep.
But I feel like the second game, although not as good, still has some nice elements that could be mined. And I think if these guys take the same approach and go slightly off the beaten path with it, that it'll be still pretty good.
Yeah.
That's my hope. Where are you sitting at?
I finished episode 4. So I'm just doing my usual podcast roundup.
What did you take of
over part 5 tonight.
What was your take on episode 3?
Oh, excellent. Absolutely outstanding. One of the best sort of, I think it was about an hour and 15 in the whole run of it. One of the best episodes of TV I've watched in a long time.
Yeah. I took a chance too. So to me, that's not what the game gives you.
No.
But to take a chance and go slightly different and go away from the main storyline.
Yeah.
And attaches to a character who's minimal in the game.
Very minimal.
And
I
do that
remember,
with it. I thought it was great.
It's been a little while since I've played the game. I did 2 full playthroughs of the game. And I remember the name, but I was like, fuck, how does this play out again? And then when you go to the game and you read it, you're like, well, that was pretty interesting in the game, but to add the fucking depth to that and make the changes they did in this episode of TV, just to highlight the little things that are worth living for and kind of putting that as a counterpoint. Someone who was very much like Joel, who allowed himself to open up a little bit and things like that. I thought it was excellent.
Yeah.
Just really good stuff.
Phenomenal stuff.
Episode 4 is again, it was pretty good, but episode 3 was such a high that it was almost inevitable that it was going to be a little bit of a dip in some ways.
Yeah.
But again, some interesting things, throwing Melanie Linsky in there in a character that wasn't in the game, that kind of got me intrigued a little bit. So
I like that too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going.
Okay. Now I watched Paradise Lost, The Child Murders of Robin Hood Hills. Phenomenal piece of documentary work.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is a genuine classic true crime documentary.
Yep.
Probably almost like the granddaddy
Almost
of
the
it all.
template. Yeah.
Really well done. Just the fact that they kind of let it play out.
Yeah.
There's minimal manipulation to it. There's a lot of depth, and it covers from the arrest to the outcome of the trial.
Yeah. And as they kind of say, they didn't really know what they were getting into. They weren't there to necessarily uncover anything. It was just, we'll follow the trial and fucking get around a little bit.
I will say this though, Jared. I genuinely had nightmares about seeing that police footage of those little boys.
Right, yeah.
I don't think I'll ever get over that.
No,
ever.
I wasn't, as I said to you, when I think, because I watched them about a year or sometime in the last sort of 2 years, and I remember saying to you, I wasn't fucking prepared for that. I was fucking unsettled from the start by seeing that, and just, I'm the same. It's kind of something you just don't kind of get past.
I mean, I remember being unsettled by seeing that footage of Vic Morrow in Cursed Films, and that was from a distance.
Yeah.
You couldn't really see what happened.
Yeah. Initially in this one, I was like, is that what I think it is?
Yeah.
And I was fucking shocked that they just showed it and stayed on it.
Yeah. So I'll never watch it again. Like, I just can't see myself watching the documentary again, as good as it is, because I think that sort of material is just so hard to look at.
Yeah.
And I watched the sequel, which, as I told you before, I was really disappointed.
Unhappy.
Yeah. I felt like he could have pared it down to 90 minutes. It's also 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But I just feel like there's nowhere near as much because we don't get the inside of the trial. They wouldn't allow it, which is fair enough because they probably felt like, hang on,
Yeah.
we gave them way too much access initially.
And all the cops in the first one were just like, fuck, we better not do that again.
Exactly. And they filled the time with people that I didn't...
One in particular?
One guy in particular. I think Mark Byers is just a fucking lunatic. And
Yeah.
not in a good way. Like, I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to say that Byers is a genuine suspect.
Yeah.
Genuine suspect. And he is. To me, yes, he is a genuine suspect. Did he do it? I don't know. Did he have a motive to do it? Yeah, it seems like it. Judged on by what's being said. But his behaviour is just way out there.
Yeah.
He has got a mental health problem.
Yes.
And unfortunately, they spend way too much time with him.
I
Because
believe
he's the
dead now,
guy...
isn't he?
I think he's dead now.
Yeah.
He's the guy who turns up to everything.
Yeah.
Like, if you notice that, he's bitching and moaning about the West Memphis 3 guys.
Yeah.
But yet he is more than happy to talk to anybody
Yeah.
about it.
Well, I can't remember whether it was the second. You've decided against watching the third.
I'll probably go to it.
I
just
would
on the
watch it.
side.
But he turns.
Yeah, I know he turns out, and I am aware of that.
So the thing for me is, like, I wasn't as low on the second one. It's not as good.
But my concern is
close.
a guy with that type of mental health issues, why he would turn, would not have any backing to it. Because he's such a loose cannon.
No, well, this is the thing, right? I think the effectiveness that I saw in spending some time with him, I'd probably agree that maybe there was too much of him in the second one.
Yeah.
But I think there is certain things in the second one where you are actually looking at him going, as you said, you're looking at him going, either he did it, or this is just a picture of a man who is just fucking, as you said, his mental state was either that way to start with, or he has deteriorated.
It's clear that he had some issues.
Yeah.
And I believe they said something about a brain tumour.
Yeah.
And so that had affected him.
Yes.
And I'm not going to lie, I did have to chuckle when he played us one of his songs at the end of the doco, and he plays it on tape and then lip syncs. At the same time, I thought, yeah, Mark, maybe just let it play. But also, they show the mutilation of the young boy in graphic detail. And again, I
don't want to see that.
I can't see myself. I struggle to comprehend.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm a true crime watcher.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever been so...
Well, that's the thing about it. Most true crime watchers haven't seen fucking crime scene evidence photos, even in the docos.
No. Very few. It's very much like...
sometimes you don't want to.
The O.J. Simpson one, where they show Nicole Simpson with her throat cut. I don't want to see that shit again.
No.
So, I'll move on to part 3, but I'll do it on the side, because I think my wife was just not having it anymore.
Okay.
So I've really upset her. I watched the Way Back.
Yeah.
With Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I heard it was
movie.
pretty good.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
We were looking for summer movies, because we've just been away for a couple of days at the Bay, Jared.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed it. I think it's a really, really good movie. And
I saw
Steve Carell.
I saw it a few years back.
He plays a bit of a scumbag.
Yeah. I remember
does it
really. I remember really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Not
Sam Rockwell's pissed.
Not top tier coming of age stuff, but it was pretty good.
Well, for this period, it's one of the better coming of ages. It doesn't reach the heights of your 80s coming of age pictures and things like that. You Stand By Me's and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really good. I watched Uncle Drew.
Mm.
Yeah, I enjoyed the shit out of that.
Yeah.
It was silly as a whale, but it was quite humorous, and I thought Chris Webber was really good.
Yeah, Chris Webber was good. Kyrie should stick with that sort of stuff and not some of the other nonsense that he gets tied up in these days.
Yeah. The Earth's not flat.
No.
I watched Anaconda.
Whew, Jesus, you did have some time, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Not good.
Is John Voight as bad as I remember?
He is.
That movie?
No, Voight understands this is shit. And he just hams it up.
Mm.
But that accent, he needs to work on it.
Yeah.
It was early CGI, and a lot of that was very unconvincing. The movie looks better when they use the animatronic one. But it's hard to make that. I'm not saying it's not. It's hard to make a gigantic snake scary, because it's not. I'm sure if I saw an anaconda nearby, I think I'd be worried.
Mate, I would.
I mean, they swallow men whole.
Mate, I'd crap the jodhpurs if I saw a fucking small snake.
Yeah,
so don't worry
exactly.
about a big one.
So, it's capable of doing that if you do the right things, but it's basically just Jaws,
Yeah.
but just a really cut-rate version.
Well, it's not basically just Jaws.
Well, it's similar
It's
in
Jaws
plot
minus
devices. Because,
minus this,
John
minus that.
Voight's kind of like Quint. You know, the lunatic sort of guy who's...
Stop talking now.
Yeah, okay, he's not.
He's not Quint's freckle at this point. Mate.
But the whole plot devices is very similar.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Alright, it's nothing
Stop
like
saying
it.
very similar.
It's nothing like it.
He's trying to be Quint.
But the only good thing about it is watching Ice Cube wrestle with an animatronic snake.
Mm.
And J-Lo still looks... Today, he still looks the same.
Yeah.
Except for the frizzy hair.
Mm.
And Owen Wilson... still got a very, very big nose.
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything about that.
No.
Okay. Then I moved on, that same night, Jared, to the Meg.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I remember thinking the Meg was kind of,
Pretty
they
crap.
could have done better more with that.
Yeah.
But upon review, stupid, but entertainingly stupid.
Yeah, I think
You know?
I think you were right the first time.
There's a couple of really good sequences in it.
Don't say it's basically just
No,
Jaws,
it's not.
because it
It's
is
not.
not.
It's not. But there's a couple of really good sequences, action sequences.
Mm.
Very hard to take that Statham's a scientist.
Very
And I
hard.
also like the fact that he's been sucking piss for 5 years,
Yeah.
but he's ripped.
But he's still the man for the
I
job.
mean, if I sucked piss for 5 years, I'd have a pot belly.
Mm.
And then they'd go, do you want to go down to 11,000 feet and collect these people? No, I don't.
That's what always makes me laugh about these movies, that these people are supposedly so brilliant that even while they are still quite clearly in the grips of alcoholism, they're the person we go to for this really fucking important job. There's no other scientists on the planet
We do not go
who could do that.
We do not go there.
No.
Like, you know what I mean?
No.
He gets immediately struck off the list.
Of course.
And they try and do this thing where
Look.
the doctor's going, he had a breakdown. We can't use him.
Yeah.
But it's all for naught.
I mean, in his time, the guy was brilliant, but he's still in the grips of a very harrowing disease, which we probably don't, we probably can't have.
Yeah, let's not have a drunk down there.
Put a finer point on it.
And I also feel like the twist that they go with, that there's a little one and then a mother, stupid. You just give me one.
I'll tell you when they lost me. Those two fucking guys in the submarine. When they're fucking knocking through the...
Oh, yeah.
That was it for me. I was done.
Early, that was about
That
5
was
minutes in.
Yeah. I had enough.
I still laugh at the guy inside the plastic ball.
Yes.
That makes me laugh every time. Because the first shot of him, he is loving life in the ball. Next thing you know, he's getting chased by a giant shark and he's popping himself. Then all you see is he gets squashed. Oh, I love that bit.
Yeah, I
don't
do
know why
remember
I love
that bit being
And also,
enjoyable.
Rainn Wilson seems way out of place. Like, what they were doing there,
Horribly
I
miscast.
don't know what they were thinking. To
Yeah.
me, you go with your Paul Reiser, your smarmy, aliens type of guy.
Well, that's the thing. They went with Rainn Wilson, but they didn't ask him to really do anything funny.
No, he wasn't funny at all.
No.
Good to see Cliff Curtis got to play a New Zealander.
And I was going to say, yeah, he's finally
God, he
added
must have
New
been thinking-
Zealand to the resume after all these years.
Yeah, he's probably thinking, Jesus, someone didn't get the memo. Okay, I also watched the first episode of The Disappearance of Madeleine McCann on Netflix, because that's been out for years, and I remember starting it back when it first came on,
Yeah.
and then it was 8 episodes long. I'm a bit wondering what ground are we going to cover in 8 episodes?
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot of episodes. And it's a very, very major case, but it feels like there's a lot there.
Yes.
And they really cover the entire abduction in the first episode.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where it goes, I guess. And the last one was I watched another sort of coming of age film. Me and my wife watched it actually this afternoon. The Spectacular Now.
Mm.
I don't know if you've seen that one. It's got Miles Teller in.
No.
Yeah, it's alright. But it's not like you. It's a bit on the lower scale of the coming of age.
I won't rush into it.
It's not really for you, I don't think.
No.
You don't have a heart, you mongrel.
Oh, fuck, I've got a bigger heart than you do.
No, you don't. Now, come on.
Yes, I do.
We're gonna have to have an episode where we just compare heart sizes. All right, over to you.
Well, I cry in ET still, so I think I've got a bigger heart than you.
Sorry.
But anyway, look, I had a short run. Obviously, The Last of Us.
Yes.
I got another episode of Tales from the Territories under the belt.
You said they were starting to run out of some. How was it? Did you feel like they came into anything decent?
Oh, look, it's still the appeal of it is people just whipping out stories that you may not have heard. The strength of it is the round table.
Yeah.
And when you get a good storyteller on there, for example, Jimmy Hart was on one of the episodes and the bloke can tell a story, or you just get a really excellent story from them on the road, that's the strength of it. That's the idea of it, is that, okay, they touch on things we already know about and they'll go into them, but then someone will just whip out a story about, oh, we were on the road and, you know, someone played a prank on me, blah, blah, blah. And that stuff's really good. This weekend, this week's episode was the Von Erichs, the territory that their father was running.
Because they had a bit of a bad run, didn't they?
Yeah, most of the sons of... Well, I think all of the guys' brothers were dead. I think there was 5 boys. There was 4 or 5. Yeah. And I believe all of them except one...
all for numerous reasons, I believe.
Yeah, numerous reasons. And the one that ended up going to WWF was the Texas Tornado. By the time he got to WWF, he'd been in a car accident, had an amputated leg, and then ended up dying of drug overdose, I think. And so it's all pretty tragic stuff. But yeah, and again, a couple of amusing stories, and that's kind of what you're there for stuff you haven't really heard about from the people involved. So yeah, that was pretty good. I watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with the kids.
Was that the old one?
The old one, yeah. Getting warmed up to check out Wonka. That's obviously coming out this year, the prequel.
Who's Wonka in the prequel?
Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I can't really comment on Timothy because I don't watch highbrow movies, so fuck, I don't know.
Timothy's an actor, not a screen presence.
He hasn't been in a full moon feature, so why am I fucking paying any attention to him?
You know more about Kevin Spiritus than you know about Timothy Chalamet.
I actually do. I've seen more Spiritus pictures than Chalamet pictures. That is the 100% truth.
You've seen more David Dakota films than Darren Aronofsky films, haven't you? For God's sake.
I watched a little bit of Aronofsky, but...
Not much.
I got onto the bloody disgusting doco list again. Wrinkles the Clown had already been ticked off, so I moved on.
Unfortunately, I did not get to Wrinkles the Clown this week.
No, I moved on to Missing 411.
Yeah, how was that? That's the one about that's the Sasquatch.
Well, no. So the first one essentially just outlines a bunch of disappearances that happened together, little evidence, remains not recovered. I can see why it's on the list because it is quite creepy. They kind of reenact a couple of them where they just kind of show someone doing something, and this one focused on kids too, which was
creepy.
A little creepy.
Were they lost in the wilderness or something?
Yeah, lost in national parks. Huh. And essentially, it's getting around that there's no register of people who've disappeared in national parks and whatever. Look, there's not a lot. I mean, to take the bloody terminology, it's probably fingernail deep. It's not really. It's not really digging in heavily. So when you account for that, it's not a good doco, but I can see why it's on the creepy list. Yeah. It didn't stop me from delving into the sequel, Missing 411: The Hunted, which was all a similar thing, but was all about experienced hunters and woodsmen and stuff going missing.
And also, Fingernail Deep?
No. Well, this one, the guy starts to outline his kind of... he's an ex-cop. Right, okay. And he starts to outline, all these cases have these similar things, and they're all in... There's something to the fact that they're all in similar places and whatever, but I mean, I'm pulling some of the threads, and things are coming apart. For example,
does he legitimately come out and say Sasquatch did this?
They do go up into the mountains, and there is a recording of howling and shit that is possibly a Sasquatch by the end of the second one.
It's a wolf. They do live in high ground too.
Look, it says it's been checked out by scientists who determined it's from a creature that's 7.5 to 8 feet tall.
Bullshit.
But so I'll put it to
Is
you.
it a cryptozoologist?
I'll put it to you like this: the first case.
That's weird.
The first case of the sequel is a guy who's quite old.
Yeah.
I think he was about 80 at the time, or 75.
Oh, he was an experienced woodsman.
He was an experienced woodsman, but he was missing an eye. He was starting to go deaf. and there's actually a line in there that's, it's not conceivable that this guy who was missing an eye and was starting to go deaf could go missing on his own. I actually thought it's actually very conceivable that
he couldn't hear anyone saying, "Oi, come here," and he couldn't see out of his peripheral vision.
No,
I suggest he propped himself up against a tree and died.
Well, they actually start talking about, we started firing the guns in the air, which is apparently, a thing you do. We keep a couple of shells, so we fire them in the air, and I'm thinking, you've just explained why that may not have worked, why that possibly didn't work. So
sorry, this guy's an ex-cop.
Yeah, the guy putting them together, who apparently has written fucking 7 or 8 of the books.
Was he?
I won't be reading them. But I can tell you, part three, I believe is called something like the UFO Connection. So I am intrigued. My interest peaked.
Do we know if he was drummed out of the police force and being a drunk or a fucking conspiracy theorist or something?
I can't tell you.
That sounds about right.
But he has made Sasquatch books too. So it's all coming together. Speaking of painting a picture and checking the marks of these cases, look, there is some, as I said, there's something to there's.
It's a creepy situation that many people have gone missing.
And it brings up it does raise some interesting points about how. There's certain instances where the FBI won't even be called about some of these disappearances. Namely, when he's blind, the 80-year-old, the blind deaf guy, and there seems to be a logical explanation for things. But yeah, the second one, I was looking at some of the cases and just going, "Come on, like someone got lost, or this does seem conceivable."
That it's just
a case of someone getting lost. They do bring up points. Oh yeah, this is again another case in there. This guy used to go out there every weekend. He would have known where this is. He had caches up there of equipment, and he was going to get to one. He wouldn't have missed this turn that he was going for. But they failed to mention stuff. I googled a little bit. They failed to mention that there may be a spotlight on the other two people he was there with, who may not have actually liked him. There's other explanations for some of this.
Somebody could have killed him and buried him.
That's why I'm saying it's kind of fingernail deep. It starts to become very clear that these fit what this bloke's looking for without necessarily going into another avenue that says no. Well,
so he's got the blinkers on. He's saying Sasquatch was involved.
He's got the blinkers
on. UFO.
Someone says incriminating texts. He says no, Sasquatch.
Yeah,
that's where.
Well, these things have become so advanced they know how to use mobiles.
Sasquatch picked up the other bloke's phone and sent that message while he was doing all this.
I'm staying in the woods for a few months.
I actually reckon they would have been better off running with the Sasquatch in the kids one, because that would have made that even
more sense,
scarier,
more sense.
Well, they do say. I mean, there's a couple. Again, they say unexplained, and some of it seems to be an animal took that child. Pretty clearly, because they were found fucking miles away up rock things and stuff like that.
Sasquatch, you know.
Sasquatch, could be Sasquatch, but yeah,
he climbs.
The first one is creepy and unsettling for that exact reason.
So they did find some remains of some of the kids.
They did find remains of some of them, and they were miles away and things. But they say, well, it couldn't have been this animal that everyone says it is because they didn't do this or that. That's why it's unsettling. It's not necessarily because you're looking at it going, that doesn't have an explanation.
Okay.
Because I think some of them did. And the last thing I watched, Adam, which I think I was seemingly one of about fucking 35 people around the world to go and watch, was Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
Yeah.
Its box office has been disastrous. And I believe there's a bit of blowback on the net coming for Dwayne.
Because
The
he was
Rock
supposed to be
Johnson.
in there, right?
Well, he refused. He kind of seemed to have refused to. Him being in Black Adam, he refused to kind of say Shazam and Black Adam should be in the same thing. He kept going with Black Adam's this and that. This is
Superman.
mine. Whereas the first Shazam movie was excellent, and I think Dwayne could have fucking slid in nicely. We've seen him do a bit of comedy. He could have played the hard ass and made a few lines, but it seems like, and I hate to say this because it hasn't really seemed to be the case, but I think the whole Black Adam, Shazam, Fury of the Gods fiasco here seems to indicate that perhaps Dwayne's ego got in the way for once.
Yep.
Which is...
Is there?
it
I
sucks
believe there
to
is a
say.
major character in there.
It sucks to
Is
say.
that correct?
Oh,
A major DC character.
briefly.
Huh?
Very briefly. So,
Is it Superman
in which one?
in the Fury of the Gods?
No.
Because he was in Black
He
Adam.
was in Black Adam.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, it's not Superman. But it's a cameo.
Batman.
Keep digging.
The Flash.
Nope.
Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Oh, God.
That's the one. But, I don't know. Talk to Tommy Cruise and great things are coming with the Flash.
But as I said, TC goes into the head of the studio's office. The head of the studio says, "Oh, Flash is pretty good." And Cruise goes, I wouldn't mind seeing that."
Yeah,
Guy
price
drops everything, puts it on for him.
I know. Did you hear how it happened? They sent it to his house, and it was just one of those situations where the bloke turned up with it, had to wait at TC's house while he was watching it, retrieve it, and take it back. So some bloke just had to sit there while Cruise was
watched
watching
the
it.
movie.
And then Cruise cold called the director, said, "This is fucking fantastic. It's everything a movie should be."
Well, I tell you what, DC needs some good press.
Yeah.
So this has come at the best possible time.
But if the best press you've got is still attached to Ezra Miller, you've still got a few issues there.
You have, but see, Cruise is riding the wave.
Yeah, Cruise.
So
is
Cruise
right
is
away.
walking around going, "I saw the Flash and I loved it." People are going, "Oh shit, we better go see the Flash."
Yeah.
Right?
As I said to you, Adam, if I rocked up to David Zaslav's office with a shocking fake tan, looking kind of maniacally grinning like the Joker, and said, "Hey,
I'd love to see the Flash.
it," I'd be escorted off the premises. And as you so succinctly pointed out, Tommy Cruise could have crapped on Zaslav's desk, wiped his ass with a few of the fucking meeting notes, and they still would have been falling all
Yeah.
over themselves to show it to him.
Well, you mentioned Will Smith must be dirty because he slapped the Christ out of Chris Rock, and he's been blacklisted from Hollywood.
Yeah.
And
Whereas Tommy's wrapped up with an organisation that appears to be making people disappear and all sorts of shit.
including the founder's wife, and Cruz is in such fine form at the moment he could slap the shit out of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And he'd be fine.
Yep. We'd still go and watch Mission Impossible.
Look, I'm all over Mission Impossible right now.
But let's face it, you weren't going to watch The Flash, but then you heard that, now you're on board.
I haven't seen a DC movie in ages. I hear The Flash is a good movie. I'm straight into it.
The saviour of cinema says this is everything you want in a movie. I'm there.
I'm there.
No.
Look, DC's in trouble. But they need Gunn to now...
Hey, well, this is the
hopefully
thing,
they
right?
can now step back
Look.
and do what they've got to do for this new crew.
I'm scrubbing this one because I reckon they dropped it. The marketing, they dropped it because they knew this was shit that was all put together before Gunn and Co were in there. They're kind of releasing it, but not really pushing it. And as I said to you, I saw the preview and I was just like, the direction just looked a little bland. So I think they just said, we've already made the decision to sort of cut losses and go in another direction, which I think is a pretty good. Yeah, I think it was time.
Oh, it was time. Of course it was time. I mean, DC has been slogging through some real shit
Yeah.
for some time. So they needed to do this.
They still had a couple. I mean,
They still had
I
the
didn't
Batman.
love the Joker, but it was a hit. The Batman was an excellent
Surprisingly,
movie.
I loved the Joker.
Yeah.
I actually thought the Joker was good. And I thought the
Finger nailed
Batman...
deep, mate.
The
It was-
Batman was good.
But yeah, they needed a reset on
Yeah.
the main continuity. And
So let's reset.
Yeah.
Just Shazam. I'm sure the first movie was probably good. And it was
First
a
movie
bit of a
is
surprise.
a lot of fun.
I think.
Yeah.
But the character's just not anything...
No, they were never going to win. They were never going to win box office with the Shazam character.
No. They had to go deal somewhere
The
different.
first one was a sneaky hit because it was a good movie and it had the vibe of something like Big.
Yeah.
And did it really well. The second one, I mean, I watched it. I thought it was all right. It's nothing spectacular, but it was enjoyable enough. It's forgettable. Look, I don't think it's as bad as the box office suggests, but I don't think that, word of mouth isn't going to turn that around.
No. And it doesn't even have a heap of good reviews behind it to say, well, people might hang. I think you'll see a 60% drop-off next week, and it'll be quietly out of cinemas within about 4 weeks. Because no one's going to want to see it. It'll make a little bit of money.
I think last I read, it was like 30 million opening weekend worldwide.
That's not good.
For a $100 million movie.
That's not good.
No.
Nope. Even with 100 million these days, you need to break even. You need to be making 300 million or 400 million because there's so much marketing and all that sort of shit involved. Disappointing. All right.
No, better get back onto more fucking documentary fairs about Bigfoot. They never disappoint.
That's where the real bank is at.
Yeah, bang for buck.
Bang for buck there. All right, let's take a break. Here's the trailer for 2023's Scream 6.
We're too high up. We can't get down from here. You're almost here. Behind you!
This isn't like any other ghost face.
What is this place?
It's a shrine.
Guys? We've got to lure him in.
We execute him.
Come on, mother!
Scream.
It's for you.
Only in theaters March 10th. Tickets on sale now.
Scream 6 from 2023, directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette, who directed Ready or Not. Produced by Paul Nainstein, who produced Bed Rest, William Shayrak, who produced Ambulance, and James Vanderbilt. Written by James Vanderbilt, who wrote White House Down, and Guy Bizik, who wrote Scream 2022. And it's based on characters created by Kevin Williamson. It stars Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers, Melissa Barrera as Sam Carpenter, Jenna Ortega as Tara Carpenter, Jasmine Savoy Brown as Mindy Meeks Martin, and Mason Gooding as Chad Meeks Martin. The budget was $35 million, and as of today, its box office is $116 million worldwide. This film was greenlit on February 3rd, 2022, 3 weeks after Scream 2022 was released.
There you go.
I'm pretty high on it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The return. All right. Thoughts, Jared?
I was very impressed. I think I gave the last one, I think it was like a 3.5 out of 5. I think in hindsight, I've probably bumped that up to closer to a 4. Yeah. And I think this one was pretty much neck and neck. The ideas around internet culture, again, to be pretty well used. I think it was very similar to the last one where, in the scheme of things, the whodunit and the killer reveals and stuff didn't blow me away.
No.
Which was the same as the last one. But I enjoyed how they used those things all in the commentary of fandom, and this one sort of just extended to internet culture in general and, conspiracies and whatnot. And I really enjoyed that. I think this one had some cracking little set pieces.
Yes.
I think we'll get to the specifics of it, but I actually think this one probably had the last one for a couple of really sequences that had me on edge.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Genuinely tense.
I liked the way Ghostface was upped a little bit in the particular scenes. I know we spoke about the trailer. You were sort of a little sceptical about how that was going to play out. I actually think it
played out well.
Handled pretty well.
Yeah.
And I think the acting held up reasonably well again. I've actually got a big rap for one player in particular that I'll get to later, but a couple of downsides. I think some of the kills kind of being rolled back and things like that didn't work every time.
Yeah.
But all in all, I had a grand old time with it. Yep. So yeah.
I agree. I gave it 4. And I gave 3.5 2022, and I think this was better than that. And to me, personally, this is the second best of the series, in my opinion. There was a couple of set pieces that were genuinely tense. It opened with a real surprise.
Yeah.
For the first time since the first film.
Yeah.
It surprised me.
And it actually opened with something that we had tossed out when we were throwing out ideas of what might come about.
Correct. And I think the acting, I had a lot of things to say about one particular actor or actress from 2022, which I'm going to have to eat some crow on.
Sauce it up.
Get
it on a bun.
Get it in there. Because I think the performances pretty much all round really know where the material is at.
Yep.
And there's one specific scene that I thought when I saw bits of it in the trailer, I was like, this looks ridiculous. We might be in some real trouble. The scene of the film, for me, worked out beautifully. And Ghostface is genuinely... There's an aggression to it. Like, when he's after someone, he's bashing through doors. He just seems to not give up on it.
Yeah.
And that stuff is genuinely kind of builds a bit of tension to it.
Yeah.
That he won't just go away.
Yeah, it does away with a little bit of the old style clumsiness that Ghostface had.
There's still a little bit of that in there.
A little bit, but not quite as much.
It's not as much.
Yeah.
All round, I thought, it's a must-see for your horror slasher fans. I can see why it's been really well received.
Yep.
So I was very big fan of it. Now, before we get going, there will be spoilers.
Yes.
There will be spoilers. Simple.
Yep.
So, if you haven't seen it, wait until you've seen it before you listen to this.
Yeah.
Straight out of the gate, this is where I eat some crow.
Yeah, I think I'm eating the same bird.
Similar crow.
Because we're talking about
Melissa Barrera.
Melissa Barrera.
Yeah,
yes.
I was very scathing, and and after watching 2022 again, her performance is not good.
Yeah, I didn't think it was.
It's not good.
But she is.
But she seems to, and
excellent.
I remember watching another show on Netflix that she was in.
Yeah.
And thinking, well, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, she's really good here. What went wrong?
Yeah.
I don't know what went wrong in the first one.
Yeah.
But she really steps up the game.
She's way better here.
She's much better. She pulls off the whole paranoia, desperate to protect your sister type of vibe.
Yeah.
But then when it clicks in and she has to get sort of badass, she does. She does it really, really well.
Yeah.
And I said that, she was outshone substantially by Jenna Ortega in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
She really, I think she sort of climbs over her.
It's completely flipped.
Yeah, flipped here.
Yeah.
Jenna Ortega is kind of pushed to the back by this dearth of characters as well. She sort of falls back a little bit.
Funnily enough, she actually has. I reckon she's got a bigger role.
No, it's interesting, but she feels like she's in the back.
Yeah, because there is a lot of characters, and also because Melissa Barrera is really, really good in this one.
Big raps on that.
Mm-hmm.
Rest of the cast is rock solid.
Yeah.
All the returning players are fine. The addition of Kirby, I wouldn't say Hayden Panettiere was bad.
No.
But the character's not really in there much. Just a little bit of
fan service. Yeah.
But I like the addition of, like, Samara Weaving, Henry, is it Cezerny?
Henry Czerny,
he's only in it briefly, but he's there. And then Dermot Mulroney chucked in there as well. Solid people who give really good, good solid performances.
Yep.
So I was happy with that. And a big shout out to Skeet Ulrich.
Yeah.
He's only in it in a couple of sequences, but he really nails that psychotic kind of way about him.
Yeah.
And you can see the guy from Scream.
Yeah.
But because he's a little bit older, although de-aging effects still shit out.
Yeah. Luckily it was even... The reflections were even more kind of opaque.
But he really nails that whole, you are connected genetically to me, and I'm a psycho. I'm a psychotic.
Yep.
So I really liked all that. Ghostface, brutal, and as I said, almost unstoppable. There's this kind of unstoppable vibe to the way the Ghostface, when he's after people, it just kind of he seems to not want to quit.
Yeah.
Kicks down doors, The stabbings are, repeated and quite sort of, aggressive. So I kind of like that. Sort of brought.
They've definitely ramped up that angle of it, like the gore and like or the brutality of it.
Yeah.
Which does actually ramp up the scare a little
Yeah,
bit. For
it
mine.
actually, I was a couple of times, I felt the scares were sort of back a little bit.
Yeah.
Not to the level of the first one,
No,
of course,
no.
but I felt like, I feel more at home here.
Right.
Than I did in like 4 or 3.
Yeah, 3 especially. 3
Even
and 4.
2 to some extent. I feel like this kind of jumped over that a little bit in the sense of the aesthetic and the the way it was done. That it felt very much in keeping with the first one.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the masks from different killers going backwards.
Yeah, going back. That was a very good idea.
Nice touch.
I thought that was very,
Nice touch.
very cool touch.
It was interesting. It touched on that fandom idea, the shrine, and the person who managed to get their hands on all this stuff.
Yeah.
And that makes more sense when the killer's revealed
Yep.
as to why. And that's the only one I picked. Because there's a line that pretty much gives it away.
Yeah. Look, I must say, I think this is the first... It's the first one where I wasn't fucking looking for it. I was just kind of taking it in.
Yeah, agreed.
And I don't know why. Normally
I didn't pick it either for the majority.
Yeah.
So
I think there was one that I was like, early on, obviously, we're talking spoilers, so we'll go into it. But the roommate, initially I was just like, bit sus on that one.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I was just kind of taking it all in. And so, I don't know, possibly a strength for the filmmakers that I was just caught up in some of the other stuff that I didn't really
think to go.
wasn't really thinking of going looking for it.
But I also think
probably
these
a few
films
things
have kind of gone away from trying to give you the clues.
I think 5 and 6. I think partly I'm going like that because it just feels like it means less.
Yes.
Which is probably, you could say it's a failing of the film, that their whodunit isn't as strong as the first one. But let's face it, none of them
But
have
the
been as
first
strong
one
as the
was
first
hard to top.
Yeah.
And the whodunit stakes.
I actually read a really interesting thing the other day too about how not only did Scream do all those things and rejuvenated the genre, but if you look back at some of those killers where it's like a revenge thing, Billy Loomis is one of the first where the revenge is kind of, you look at him and you say, well, that's not worth, what you copped isn't worth fucking running around killing everyone. Whereas you go back to things like Prom Night and you think, well, fuck, they probably deserved it, and things like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the first one is hard to hit in so many ways, but I feel like it just feels less important in 5 and 6, the reveals and that sort of thing, and it's more about the shit they say on the way there.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think that's a strength, and you could probably say it's a bit of a flaw that they don't wrap you up as much in the.
Yeah, that's fair enough, but I went with more the strength because to me I didn't care.
Well, that's exactly right.
I'm not that interested in guessing it.
No, that's right.
It just, you give me the reveal and all right, I'll tell you if I liked it or not.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where I'm, and I'm kind of after the last one, I was waiting for, okay, so what's the reveal going to say about what they've been going for through the whole film, because I felt that was the strength of part 5, that they kind of wrapped up everything they'd been saying about fandom with that.
Yeah, the opening, best of the series, because they went off what I expected.
Yeah.
I expected the death of Samara Weaving to kind of be the catalyst.
Yeah.
But then we pivot.
Yeah.
And we show who did it.
Yeah.
And we follow them back to their apartment.
And I remember when me and you were talking about
and again,
this
there's that fandom element in that.
Yeah. I remember us talking about this, and we tossed out some ideas about how you could go with some of these things. And we actually put that out there, if I recall. We put out, I would love to see one of these movies where the killer gets it from someone else, and they fucking did it in the opening there. And as you said, I wasn't expecting it. And it was, like you said, again, it wrapped up this, it had a little bit to say about this fandom and this obsessiveness of particular people, and
yeah. And then Ghostface kills them.
Yeah.
And that's where we kick off.
Yeah.
I just like that little twist.
Yeah.
Shout out to Samara Weaving getting to use her Australian accent too, which is always good. At least it's on the resume. Unlike Cliff, it didn't take her 40 years like Cliff Curtis to get it. But, hey. Good stuff.
Yeah. No, that was really cool.
Yeah,
And also putting a face out there that we'd seen as well.
Yes.
Tony, I always get his last name mixed up, but Tony Revel. There I go again. Tony R.
Tony R.
Tony Rav, I call him.
Ravi, Rav dog. Ravster.
But yeah, I thought that was really cool too, like the way that he was just kind of matter-of-factly talking to his...
Yeah.
Talking
Oh, she deserved it. She gave me a C.
Yeah, and I needed all this. It started to fucking talk about the entitlement and the fucking warped worldview of some of this conspiracy stuff that they start to build into. And,
I dug a lot of that. I really did. The attack at the bodega. I said that I felt like in the trailer that didn't sit for me.
I can't recall the terms that we used, but I think off the mic you may have used terms like bullshit.
Well, it may have, because I kind of saw, you only see snippets of it in the trailer.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, this doesn't seem like Ghostface.
No, the gun part.
Yeah, the gun and everything. I was just like, this feels wrong. But then when they did it, it's in the run of the nightly kind of, it's not like late at night.
Yeah.
It's during like 7 o'clock at night. He takes the gun from the guy. He gets shot at first.
Yeah.
Then he takes the gun and just shoots the bloke in the head. Then he stalks them through the convenience store.
Yes.
For about a minute and a half.
Yep.
And I thought all of that was just awesome.
And, it in the trailer it didn't make it all that clear, but that he acquires the gun along the way.
Yes.
It's not the Ghostface turned up with a gun.
So I really liked that, and I felt like it really added a slight edge to it, and it was tense. They're sort of trying to move along the back of the aisles, staying out of sight. He's firing into the top of them.
Yeah.
Some of it was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Attacking in the apartment and subsequent escape via ladder into the other apartment.
Really cool.
Super tense.
Yep.
Really well edited, really well directed. And this is where Ghostface starts trying to bash down doors and all that sort of stuff to get to them.
Yeah.
And I felt like, we were right. I was clenched.
Yeah.
I was genuinely clenched.
It was well shot, and it did ramp it up. As I said, that was one of the scenes where I was kind of a little tense. I thought we were in some shit here.
So did I. Poo was coming out, Jared. The attack on Gail in her apartment, also reasonably solid. I like the phone call to her.
Yes.
She uses the gun. She gets to a gun.
Yep.
And starts firing through the door.
It's a tried and true, but Ghostface creeping in and grabbing a boyfriend in the background and things like that. That all worked out pretty well.
Yeah. But I like the idea of she got to the gun. She had the upper hand, really.
Yep.
So I liked all that. I've got a dislike to that as well that I'll go into.
Mm-hmm.
But I think most people probably know where that's going. From a spoiler perspective as well, we'll probably spoil some things, but it's something I wasn't a fan of. The scene in the train carriage.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Loved it.
Not tense, but it had a little bit of that paranoia.
Well, it was...
The lights keep going out and they keep eyeballing all these guys in Ghostface masks and trying to work out which one might be the
It took
one.
its time.
Yep. You got all those cool other ones like Pinhead and shit in the background. I really love that. Yeah.
Freddy,
there's a Jason in there.
But when you get to the point, and you know it's coming, but when you get to the point where one turns its head and is looking directly and then starts to go closer in the flashes, they just took their time and it worked really nicely.
I like that it ends up with one of them getting stabbed.
Yep.
And no one knows it.
Yep.
Because there's all these guys, and the trains as they go through, they go dark in patches. I thought it was they used the location and stuff really, really well.
Yes.
Similar to the way they used it in Jason Takes Manhattan. No?
Probably not. I wouldn't have said so.
Yeah. I believe that was Vancouver.
Wouldn't have thought so myself. Well, apparently this one was all.
It was also in Ottawa.
Yeah, but it was all So
they like the trains in Canada.
Yeah.
When it comes to slasher films.
Yeah.
The final reveal, it's balls to the wall.
Yeah.
It's all happening.
That's the winning part of it, is that it is. She's flat chat.
Flat chat.
Everything's
flat stick. Everyone's getting stabbed.
Flat stick.
Everyone's getting shot.
Also, I loved seeing the two Ghostface costumes side by side.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Because we hadn't done something like that yet.
Hadn't done it yet, even though we were kind of expecting, and it tossed into your mind, oh, it's the classic 2. It's the twofer. And then
we throw in
they play with that as
angle.
well. Yeah.
So spoiler alert.
Yes.
The reveal is the policeman,
Yep.
so Dermot Mulroney, Officer Bailey or whatever.
Yep.
And his 2 kids.
2 kids.
Which was Ethan.
Which
was he was Chad's roommate.
So they're both roommates.
And then it was I can't remember the other girl's name. And she was the roommate of Jenna Ortega, and she got killed.
Yeah.
And so they played that little thing. And I like the fact that there's a cop involved, which means you can skirt around some of the more ludicrous things. The idea that a detective with any brains could work this out.
Yeah.
But we had a detective on it.
Yep.
And he was manipulating.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of dug on that.
Yeah.
First time they've done something like that.
Yep.
And it's kind of a free-for-all. Probably goes a little bit too long, the finale.
Yeah, she goes with little bonkers at times.
But it nails the style and everything and the cheesy kind of no-holes-barred element that Scream has always done.
Yep.
And I think it does it pretty well,
yeah.
to be honest.
And these group of enablers that fucking still... I mean, it's hard not to look at some of the shit that's going on in conspiracy theory circles and shit like that, and looking at people that are being held accountable for actions and their families kind of still saying, no, it's not their fault, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed, as you said, the kind of bonkers nature of it a couple of times.
Yeah, and then look, the reasoning behind it, some of that stuff's never quite solid enough for me in a lot of cases. I don't really greatly need to be impressed as to why they did it.
Yeah. I mean, the family members and things like that, we've had that
We've had a million of
times.
them. Like, it's just... It's
probably haven't had 3 of them. But
there was nothing new here.
No.
In the finale, but it was done in the same kind of tongue-in-cheek style the series has always done.
Yep.
That was it for me.
Yeah. I think I was pretty much...
Good for you?
Covered there.
All right. Dislikes. Gail. She should have died.
Yeah.
I feel like this was the opportunity to do the same thing we did with Dewey. That they go out, they go down in a blaze of glory.
So I guess the thing here is, I feel like they didn't because of Dewey. I feel like they almost felt like, oh, well, if we do that, we're just going to be repeating ourselves.
Yeah, I know, but Gail's got nothing more to offer us, I think, in the series, for me.
No, look...
I mean, her involvement in this one was limited.
I don't think she... I mean, you could have done this movie quite fine without her there.
Yeah.
In saying that, I just feel like I got the sense when they did it, or, when it came out, that it was just like, we can't just do it again. That's what it felt like, but I guess that feeds into a larger problem of that fucking everybody gets stabbed and doesn't die in this movie.
Yes. That's one of my other dislikes is the laws of being knifed. Case in point, Chad.
Yes.
I mean, he is dead. Simple. There was 2 of them.
Yep. And I don't mind necessarily him being like the modern Dewey, where you think, oh, he's fucked, and here he comes again. But he was fucking carved up.
And I feel like, Jared, we missed a good emotional beat from that.
Yeah.
Because that sequence was emotional.
But the thing is...
Him and Jenna Ortega had connected.
Yeah.
And then he gets stabbed and he looks at it for a second and says, run!
Yeah.
You feel like he's giving himself up to save her life.
But also, like, if he'd survived, okay, that's one thing. But so did Gail.
So did
Mindy.
Riley. What was her name?
Kirby. Yes.
They were all stabbed quite badly.
Yep.
And then they all survived.
Yeah.
I could cop if Tara and Sam were stabbed like that.
Yeah.
And they survived because
one of those other ones.
They're the final girls. Like,
yeah.
They're supposed to tough it up.
Yeah, and I feel like the whole Core 4 thing is playing on the fact that, you had Sydney, Dewey, and
Mindy
for
was stabbed.
Yeah. So
as well.
You had almost all of them. Which, again, feeds into another problem. For a Ghostface with three people...
You couldn't get a knife in the heart?
Strike rate's pretty fucking low.
Yeah, I know.
Because you didn't do Samara Weaving, you did the 2 guys that killed her.
Yeah.
Then you had a fake out with the roommate, so that's not a real kill. Then you stabbed all of those people and didn't kill any of them.
And you did kill the girlfriend.
Yes,
she was killed
on the ladder. So you had the one on the
you
ladder.
killed Gail's boyfriend.
Yep. So, but really, she's pretty low stakes.
It's your heart. That's where you're supposed to put it.
Yeah, I think
I feel like we missed an opportunity.
It's a slight issue because I feel like by some people surviving, you're playing with us a little bit.
Yeah.
But if everyone survives,
it's hard.
I feel like, as you said, we were missing the Dewey from the previous movie. I don't know whether Gail was the one. I agree that perhaps Gail has run her course in the series. But I feel like you could have got an emotional moment somewhere.
And I think the emotional moment was Chad.
Yeah.
It would have worked. And it did work.
Mm.
And then we pull out that stuffy old, oh, he's still alive.
Yeah.
And we have him rolled out on a stretcher. Come on. Like, really, for a script that I didn't think put a lot of feet wrong, that's the foot wrong for me.
Mm.
Because show some guts. And say...
Well, he's appeared to be all over the fucking floor by the end of that.
He was disemboweled, but I believe...
That's all right, just tuck him in and put him on the stretcher.
And don't get me wrong, people can survive being stabbed.
Yes, of course they can.
We know that.
Yep.
But when everybody's getting stabbed like that, and then everybody survives, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. And I feel like that little dance between Tara and Chad, they're sort of coming together, they start to sort of get romantic feelings, they get close, then he gets killed to protect her. That's your stakes. That says the emotions are there. She's going to be hurt by that for the next movie. She's going to be feeling it.
Yeah.
But if he's alive, what?
Well, he is alive.
He's alive.
He's alive.
So I feel like it was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, see, we're torn between the romantics of it all.
I know.
And the
romance of it all.
And me being the big-hearted one, I side on the side of romance.
Okay, that's bullshit. Go on.
Let love live, Adam.
Yeah, I know, but look, I'd rather he was 6 feet.
Yeah, you'd rather he was fucking cut up.
Look, he's gone.
Yeah.
To me, he's he.
No, I think it's
because
it's
the way he was attacked.
It's definitely a problem that no one and he was the obvious one.
To me,
he
Mindy gets stabbed in the stomach.
Yeah.
Gail gets stabbed in the side. They're survivable.
Mm.
Him, no.
Well, they got him everywhere.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, he's shitting in a bag.
Yeah,
if he's alive, he's shitting in a bag.
Yeah. He's not coming back, still looking like he's curling.
No.
He's throwing iron
he's
around
a hunchback
regularly.
in the next film. He's a hunchback. The last thing that for me was once the killers are revealed, the actors just go off the fucking deep end.
Yes.
And they're always going like...
Especially the kids.
Yeah, their faces...
Yeah.
They start carrying on like absolute loons.
Yeah, they definitely were watching the Timothy Olyphants of the series. And,
I noticed the same thing in 2022.
Yeah.
The same thing occurs. Like, as soon as... what's he, Quaid? I was going to say Randy Quaid. As soon as Randy Quaid...
Well, he starts acting like Randy Quaid after it's revealed.
He just goes off the deep end.
Yeah.
And it seems to be the case of both of those films where, like, Dermot Mulroney turns into a... he starts making twirling his mustache.
Yeah.
Like a real idiot.
Starts chuckling and kind of...
And it's like, I understand what you're saying is that these guys are so enamoured with what they've done.
Yeah.
That they kind of, they lose their sense of inhibitions about what's happening and just go for it.
Yeah.
But it's ludicrous.
I mean...
The carry-on's
Billy's still the only one that, he has a little bit of that, but there's just this fucking simmering rage that's there. Obviously, Lillard's going over the top, but it works beautifully.
And then
but then for the rest of the series, people are just flying off the fucking handle.
Fucking Roman Bridger going on like a loose cannon. And then, don't even get me started about Scream 4.
Yeah.
That's when it gets real bad.
Yeah.
Emma Roberts is just atrocious She just goes way too far over the
She
top.
flies off the handle. I have come around to that a little bit, but
Yeah.
not necessarily the performance.
And look, I
aspect
think
of
it's
it.
part of the cheeseball charm of it.
Yeah.
Of the reveals and the finales.
Yeah.
But just rein it back a
Is
little.
this a situation where the directors are just there going, more, give us more?
Yeah, look, you have not got
Lay it
anywhere
on
near
thick.
what we want. Let's get thicker. Look, check out Blindside, 1993. See what Rutger Hauer was doing here. See the
Rutger
nuance.
just fucking lost the plot. That's what I need from you right now.
See, notice how he drank out of a vase. That's
Yeah,
what
come
we
on.
need.
Dial her up to 11. That's exactly what we want.
If Rutger was still around, we could get a masterclass. Or something.
Yeah.
Had a menacingly simmer for a second, and 2 seconds later,
Before you get
goes
tossed
in a
out a
sex-
window.
he goes to a sex party and gets chucked out the window. I mean,
Oh, man.
to me, Rutger Hauer was restrained in comparison to these guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they go way too long.
Yeah, the kids especially. I can't get the vision of those two kind of chuckling and sneering while everything's going on. I'm just kind of like, aren't you doing this because you're angry and upset?
And the other thing that comes up, and this is more of a, this is you let this go, usually, but when the killers are revealed, it's clear that they weren't doing the killing. Like, Ghostface is like Jason. Like, he's Jason-sized, and you're telling me that little woman did it?
Yeah, there
mean,
was a couple of times where
Come
I was
on,
like,
it's
oh,
like the
clearly
whole
not
thing
her.
in 2022, Amber or whatever killed Dewey.
Yeah.
No way!
No,
she did.
of course not.
She's 5 foot tall!
Yeah, and especially this one where you see the two ghost faces side by side and they seem to be identical height.
Yeah.
Or pretty fucking close to it. But then when you see the girl and the boy standing next to each other,
Yeah, there's a difference.
there's a height difference, and it seems Mulrooney's a little taller than both of them.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was just kind of the
Was
competition. of the shots,
Mulrooney
but-
involved in killing anyone? No, I thought he was just...
I felt he had to stay on the fringe a little bit.
Yeah, he was on the
Just a
fringes.
little,
He was
just a
puppet
little.
mastering.
Yes. Yeah.
He wasn't doing it, I don't think, but he was puppet
I feel like he
puppeteering.
was, he
Now,
was
Jared,
out of it.
please correct me, because obviously we couldn't take notes in the cinema, but why were they doing it? Again.
Why were they doing it?
Yeah, what was their motivation?
Well, it was all about Richie being fucking...
That's it. He was their son.
Yes.
His son, wasn't
Yeah. So Richie was...
Richie'd been killed. He was the one who put together the
You've
shrine.
besmirched his good name. What good name?
He's related to Randy Quaid.
Exactly. I mean,
His name is Mud.
he's tied up with all this Starfuckers business. His name was already Mud.
Is that what Randy's on about at the moment? Because shit, the Starfucker sounds alright.
Well, I imagine, Rutger Hauer would be in for that. He'd say, hey, here we go.
Oh yeah, I've been involved in the Starfuckers for years. That's what Rutger's be saying. Oh, it's great. This is how I let off steam between films. Shit. Is
man.
Randy still on the run in Canada?
I don't know where Randy is at the moment. I really don't. I haven't kept up on it. Ever since keeping up with Randy Quaid, started turning into Randy Quaid's got sex tapes. I'm like, well, I don't need to see that. I don't need to. If that's the Starfuckers we're talking about.
Imagine coming across that new
As soon as I heard that, I decided to start fuck off and just kind of not
Imagine coming across that video cassette. Jesus Christ.
That'd be the day you would quit TMZ. Wouldn't it? You just got to take in the mail. Oh shit, I'm out. Sorry.
So what have we got on today? I got Randy Quaid. So I just recently watched Randy Quaid's sex tape. I need to go and see a psychologist.
Yeah, can I see HR, please?
Oh my God.
I did not sign up for this.
Yeah, I didn't have to
I
see
wanted to fucking, I wanted to follow.
I mean, if it was Dennis Quaid's sex tape, I'll have a bit of a look.
Yeah. I wanted to chase Tom Cruise into fucking shitty restaurants and try to get a picture of him. I didn't anticipate watching this sort of shit.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I thought the limit would be, I'd stumble onto George Clooney in a seedy bar and get into a punch up. That's the salacious I meant.
Yeah. All I wanted was to get pushed over while the fucking a rock star was coming out of a nightclub. That's
The hazards of the job, I guess. But yeah, that was all about. It was all about them, kind of, you know, almost kind of running the conspiracies about what she was doing.
I tell you what, Jared, you would need to do what they do to fucking Malcolm McDowell in Clockwork Orange to get me to watch fucking Randy Quaid sex tape. It's got I need my eyeball cells open.
Yep, absolutely.
Now, did you have anything else?
The only other one that I wasn't a big fan of was the back and forth between the whole thing about, Kirby's here, she's the FBI, and then the one phone call from the cop that says, she's fucking lost the plot, she's not working for the FBI. Not working for the office anymore. I am slightly suspicious, and I'm saying, well, I don't trust either of you, because you're saying this, but I'm also thinking, what sort of fucking half-assed police officers letting someone just roll in? Yeah. I mean, if you've been kicked out of the FBI for 2 months, I'm sure there's something about you not being able to just waltz into a police station.
Correct.
Like, there's got to be something there.
My understanding would be, if you were kicked out of the FBI, they would have taken your gun and your badge.
Your badge, correct.
You would not be wandering around into police stations that you want. And any contact with the FBI would surely be checked.
Coming from
by
the FBI.
Any police station would be saying, well, the FBI are,
Exactly. So that part, for me, felt the girls take his word too easily.
Yeah.
Like, supposedly Sam is fucking paranoid.
Yeah. And
but
she plays that whole game with the new boyfriend. You're not Woodsboro. We can't trust you.
Correct.
And that's a cool. I like that. That was a cool twist. It was like kind of like saying that scrub him off the list. He can't be in it because we're not going to let him in here.
Which also kind of keeps him on the list of suspects.
He's there. He's maybe.
But yeah, I just found they take that a little too. Yeah. They take that at face value a little too.
Whereas
too
both of you need to leave.
Yeah. I'd be like, okay, well, maybe I'll put Kirby at arm's length, but don't you show up either, because until this shit's worked out,
I don't trust you.
I'm not trusting you either.
So I agree with that. I didn't quite hit the mark on that.
Didn't quite add up.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, I think just in general, I really enjoyed it.
Yes.
I will be going back again before it finishes up its cinema run. So.
Yeah, I would definitely be happy to go see it again. I thought it was really, really good.
Yep.
And as I said, I think it's the second best of the franchise.
Yeah.
And I'm actually very interested to see what they do next.
Yep.
Because I would assume this was like a 3-pack.
I think I haven't read the latest, but last I heard they said they'd be happy for it to go on without them, but I think they may have some ideas of what they would do anyway. And I would think you would be crazy not to offer it to them again.
No, absolutely not. I think that you throw more money at them. I would love to see them throw money at Neve Campbell and bring her back and kill her. Or something like that.
Is that big heart of yours again?
Put her
in
the firing line.
I don't want her to be brought back just to be killed.
All right, well, put her in, but bring her in as a legitimate player.
Yeah. If you got a good idea, great. I'm in.
Like, if you're going to bring her back...
Let's not make it Leatherface. Let's not make it Leatherface 2022, where we fucking trumpet the return of Sally and then do nothing.
No, let's bring her back and give her a substantial role. Somehow integrate her back in with the crew.
Well, do it if the story's there. Yeah.
But I feel like Gail's done.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if we got Gail back.
If we do, then I could see that being the case, that she is killed.
Yeah. All right. That was Scream 6. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Podomatic, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au. We're on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com, and Instagram at thrillmepodcastau. Keep an eye on our Facebook page to see what we cover next. I believe it's Scotty Atkins.
Yes.
And I found a Scotty Atkins on Netflix.
Yeah. Isn't that the one we're watching?
Oh, it was called something about him being in prison.
Abandonment or something.
That's
like
it.
That. Yeah. Isn't that the one we're watching?
Oh well, look that whatever.
Because I've also just kicked off a Scotty Adkins
Marathon?
film on SBS called Ninja.
Ninja. All right. Well, won something with Scotty Adkins in it.
Yeah.
But until then, take it easy, everyone, and we'll catch up with you later. Cheers. Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.